Welcome, Crusaders. This is the intro of the first series in the channel. It's gonna be a roleplay series, and we start in 1066 as the Count Roger of Messina, and we are under our oldest brother, the Duke Robert the Fox of Apulia. Count Roger is a very ambitious man. He starts with 3 counties, and the rest of Sicily it is under Muslim rulers. By 1088, Robert the Fox was coronated the King of Sicily by the Pope Alexander II. Roger is still only a count, but as you can see, he has a pretty decent military strength compared to his oldest brother, and they ruled the land together. In 1091, Robert the Fox died, and his son, now King Roger of Sicily, takes over. King Roger creates the Duchy of Sicily, but he holds to himself. And he tries to take land away from Count Roger. He tries to revoke the Calabria lands here. Count Roger takes this very seriously and declares war on his nephew, becoming independent. So at this point in time, we have the Duchy of Sicily and the Kingdom of Sicily. We also have a little papacy island here in Benevento. In 1102, after some crisis in Benevento, Duke Pandolf V takes over, and he's a very ambitious man. And sooner rather than later, he starts to declare war on the region, try to take Capua from Sicily, and later on he tries to take the Count of Foggia. At the moment, Duke Roger is gone. He died at 1102, and his son, Bertrand, takes over. He's a good military man, not as skilled as his father, and his first priority is help his cousin to not lose Capua. As you can see, they are not very friendly to each other, but they must put the Normans above them all. So together they fight the Benevento guy and stop him to conquering the Duke of Capua. Few years later, Duke Bertrand make his move to conquer the Duke of Capua to prevent the Benevento dude of conquering it. And the only way he sees to stop the threat against the Normans is declaring war against Benevento itself. And the Benevento was a vessel from Pope Celestinus II. So when Bertrand declares war for Benevento, the Pope excommunicated him. Duke Bertrand, although a not very pious man, he got really upset and he blamed King Roger II for his excommunication. So at this point, he decides he should rule Sicily instead of Roger. Shy, stubborn man, poorly educated. He, he wasn't really good at anything. At the same time, he starts expanding to Sardinia, where he put his son in one island and his other son in the other island. In 1144, Bertrand becomes the king of Sicily. But sadly, 1 year after that, he dies of old age. So Bertrand II comes to power, and his brothers are still in Sardinia and Corsica, and he starts to move towards the North Africa because at this point still ruled by Muslims and they're still a threat to the Sicily and the Normans ruling here. So first he takes Tunis and he gives to his heir. His heir is pretty much his image, a brave and wrathful man with very good military education, pretty good commander. So his son starts to ruling from Tunis. Bertrand II dies of old age at 1168, but he also conquers Kairouan to one of his sons and Gabes to another son. So when Bertrand III comes to power, the Kingdom of Sicily it is becoming a huge powerhouse in the Mediterranean. And they are having very succession incursions in the North Africa, fighting the Muslims there. Bertrand III pushes the rest of the Northern Africa and gives land to his sons. The County of Wadan, that's part of Sirte, and the Fezzan. And his youngest son gets the Cyrenaica from the Egyptians. But all his campaigns on the North Africa take its toll, and Bertrand dies of heart failure at 54. His son, Ildebrando, is the first not military ruler, but people say he's Midas touched. So he invests money developing the region, all his holdings, and Sicily becomes a huge powerhouse in the region. By 1195, the Pope Urbanus III called for the Third Crusade. The, the Catholics have failed twice to conquer the Holy Land. But Ildebrando, he grew up listening all the stories of his father and grandfather fighting the Muslims in Africa. And although he's not a military man, he wants to prove himself as a good commander. So he will join the crusade and try to conquer the Holy Land. After 5 years, and leading his troops himself, Ildebrando raised a large army to help the Christians to take the Holy Land. And when they finally win the crusade, Ildebrando requested the Pope Urbanus III to make his own sister, Mabel, the Queen of the Holy Land. At the first, Urbanus did not like the idea of having a female ruler in the Holy Land, but he recognizes that Hildebrando had almost half of the Christian forces there. If it wasn't for Hildebrando, they probably would have failed the third time. So the Pope says yes. So in July of 1200, Mabel becomes the Queen of the Holy Land. But wait a second. All the Christians got tricked by the Muslims, and the Holy Land still under Muslim control from the Egyptians. Queen Mabel, a very young lady, Crusader Queen of Jerusalem, she will have to conquer the Holy Land by herself. So that's where we will stop the intro video for the series. Will Queen Mabel be able to get Jerusalem back from the Muslims' hands? Will she be able to survive the many enemies around her? Some very powerful. That we'll have to see in the next episodes. So stay tuned. Episode 1 will be coming out in the next couple days. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe and hit the bell so you can get notified when we upload the rest of the episodes. Stay tuned and see you guys later.